This video was made possible by CuriosityStream. When you sign up for an annual subscription, you'll also get access to Nebula, the exclusive home to HAI's 40-minute-long special about bricks. The United States and the United Kingdom have a complicated relationship. They used to be united, but then colonial Americans felt derided and decided they'd rather be divided. The UK felt blindsided and cried that being divided was misguided, so their two lopsided armies collided, people died, and in time the United Kingdom abided, and to the states united, independence was provided. In time, tension subsided, and the two decided to become allied and provided ambassadors who have, in each other's capitals, resided. But recently, the United States has derided the United Kingdom's prided legal system and thus has been chided. Why did they do it? A reason was provided, but whether it's compelling is undecided. Why did they make the whole intro into rhyme? Unclear, but it was obviously misguided. And it took like a really long time. Man, seriously, why did I do that? Well anyways, now that I'm loose of the news of Dr. Seuss, let's talk about London's congestion charge. From 7 AM to 10 PM, if you want to drive into London's congestion charge zone, which includes all this, you've got to fork over £15, effective every day except Christmas, when it's waived in honor of the wise men's famous gifts of frankincense, myrrh, and toll exemptions. This, of course, raises the question, but why? Why would London charge people to drive on its roads? That's what roads are for! That would be like charging people for sunshine or fresh air or basic healthcare. And who would do that? The idea is to reduce noise and air pollution, as well as to raise money for London's public transit system. In economics, this might be called a sin tax, which is different from syntax, which is how you order your sentences good, and different from sim tax, which is when you charge Sims characters a tariff for transporting goods from Sim City to Sim Isle, and different from simp tax, which is what a premium Snapchat subscription is called. The idea behind a sin tax is that the government taxes things it wants to discourage, i.e. sins, thus making it more expensive for people to do or buy those things, and thus reducing consumption of those bad things. This is why countries often tax tobacco and alcohol so heavily. They want people to use them less because it turns out tobacco and alcohol are bad for you. Who knew? Also, governments want money because they're greedy pigs who want to do gross, exorbitant things like provide people healthcare and education. Blah. Anyways, places like London noticed their streets were way too crowded, making the city too loud, too slow, too smoggy, and far too British. To solve 3 of those 4 problems, they decided to reduce the number of cars on the roads by charging people to drive on them. There are some exemptions to the rule. Cars that meet certain environmental standards can drive free. If you live in or near the area, you get a 90% discount. If you're an NHS patient who is too ill to travel by public transit, you get a refund. And if you're the Queen, technically there's no exemption, but what are they gonna do, sue you? You're the Queen. Your face is literally on the pieces of paper they want from you. But you know who isn't exempted? Foreign diplomats, including US diplomats, except the US diplomats don't really see it that way. To understand why, you have to understand a bit about diplomatic immunity, which is different from democratic disunity, which is what America has now, which is different from plutocratic community, which is what rules America now, which is different from diplostatic rotundity, which are 2 words I just made up. Under the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations of 1961 and the Vienna Convention on Consular Relations of 1963, diplomats are exempted from, among other things, paying taxes. And so, the United States' diplomats refuse to pay the congestion charge as they say it's a tax. London disagrees and says it's not a tax, it's a charge, so they do have to pay, but then the US says, no, and then London says, actually yes, and then the US says, well actually no, and basically things have gone back and forth that way for years, in what is, as far as I know, the first time that the US and UK have ever gotten into a dispute about taxes, ever. Now, normally, if someone refuses to pay money they owe the government, whether it's a tax or a charge, they'll be sued or prosecuted. But diplomatic immunity also prevents foreign countries from prosecuting or suing diplomats. For anything. Like, literally anything. A diplomat could murder someone or commit arson or say that Friends is better than Seinfeld, and they couldn't be prosecuted unless the diplomat's home country waived their immunity. It depends a little on who the person is. There are different levels ranging from full immunity from civil and criminal charges for top diplomats, to immunity from everything except civil charges for top staff, to functional immunity for low-level staff, which only covers crimes committed in the scope of their job. This is part of why diplomats join pigeons as the scourge of cities like New York, DC, and London because they refuse to pay parking tickets and there's not a damn thing you can do to make them pay them. But hey, they're still not as bad as pigeons. Pigeons don't pay parking tickets either, plus they poop on cars. Though technically diplomats could also poop on cars and not get prosecuted. Right now, about 3/4 of embassies pay London's congestion charge, but the remaining quarter that don't, a group led by the US, Japan, Nigeria, Russia, and India, now owe over £100 million, with the US alone at over 12 million, and London just doesn't have a lot of options to force them to cough up the dough. Recently, they've said they want to take it up with the International Court of Justice, which would be a great idea if what the International Court of Justice said actually mattered. Their only real option is to declare diplomats persona non grata and send the diplomats home, but that feels like a pretty extreme move. After all, what's £12 million between friends? £12 million is a lot of money, but you know what isn't? $14.79, which is what it costs to get an annual subscription to both CuriosityStream and Nebula. You see, CuriosityStream, home to thousands of top-quality documentaries, has partnered with Nebula, the streaming service I helped start with a bunch of my YouTuber friends, to offer a bundle deal that gives you access to both sites for the price of one. Not only will you get CuriosityStream's exclusive content from Jane Goodall, Stephen Hawking, and Chris Hadfield, you'll also get to watch Nebula's exclusive content from all your favorite educational YouTubers, including the HI Brick Special and the relaunch of Showmakers, my podcast with Brian from Real Engineering, where we interview other creators. You can sign up for the bundle deal at curiositystream.com/HAI.